There was a time when boredom was normal. You would sit on a bus, look out of the window, and your mind would wander. Nothing was happening, no notifications, no scrolling, no constant stream of new information, just silence. And in that silence, something important was happening. Your brain was resting. Today, that silence almost never exists. The moment there is even a hint of boredom, we reach for our phones. A few seconds waiting in line, a short walk, even a quiet moment on the sofa. Out comes the phone. A quick check turns into a scroll. One video becomes 10, 10 becomes 50, and without really noticing it, your brain becomes used to something it was never designed for. Constant stimulation. Your mind now expects something new every few seconds, a new post, a new video, a new message, a new piece of information, and when that constant stimulation stops, something strange happens. Everything else begins to feel slower. Reading a book feels difficult. Working on one task feels frustrating. Even watching a longer video can feel like too much effort. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain has been trained to expect speed. Fast rewards, fast information, fast entertainment. But focus has always been the opposite of that. Real focus is slow. It requires sitting with one thing for a long time. It requires resisting the urge to check something else. And in a world designed to constantly interrupt you, that has become incredibly difficult. The average person now checks their phone dozens of times every day, sometimes without even realizing it. You pick it up automatically, unlock the screen, scroll for a moment, then put it down again. But each time you do this, something small happens inside your brain. You reinforce a habit, the habit of seeking stimulation, over and over again, until eventually, quiet moments start to feel uncomfortable. Your brain begins to associate stillness with boredom, and boredom with something that needs to be escaped. But boredom was never the enemy. In fact, boredom used to be one of the most important parts of thinking. It was during boring moments that people had ideas. It was during quiet moments that the brain made connections. When nothing else is happening, your mind finally has space to process things, to reflect, to think deeply. But if every empty moment is filled with scrolling, that space disappears. Your brain never gets the chance to slow down. And when a brain never slows down, something important starts to fade. Your ability to focus. You begin to feel mentally tired even when you haven't done much. Simple tasks feel harder than they should. Concentration becomes fragile, and it can start to feel like something is wrong with you. Like you've become less disciplined, less motivated, less capable. But the truth is often much simpler. Your brain has just adapted to the environment around you, an environment filled with endless stimulation. The good news is that the brain is also incredibly adaptable in the other direction. If constant stimulation can weaken focus, then quiet moments can rebuild it. But that requires something most people rarely allow themselves anymore. Doing nothing, leaving your phone in another room, taking a walk without headphones, sitting with your thoughts instead of escaping them. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Your brain will look for something to check, something to scroll, something to distract you. But if you stay with the silence long enough, something interesting begins to happen. Your mind slows down. Your thoughts become clearer. And slowly, your ability to focus starts to return. Not because you forced yourself to work harder, but because you gave your brain something it has been missing for a long time. Space. In a world that constantly fights for your attention, protecting that space might be one of the most important things you can do. It happens slowly, one notification at a time, one scroll at a time, one small distraction after another, until eventually something that used to feel normal starts to feel difficult. Sitting quietly, thinking deeply, working on one thing without interruption, not because people have become less capable, but because their attention is constantly being pulled somewhere else. Every app, every notification, every endless feed competing for the same thing, a few seconds of your focus. And when that happens hundreds of times a day, your brain begins to adapt. It becomes better at switching, better at scanning, better at reacting, but worse at staying, worse at slowing down, worse at focusing on one thing long enough for real thinking to happen. Sometimes the problem isn't that your brain is broken. It's that your brain has never been given a moment of quiet long enough to remember how focus actually feels.